So let's move on to the most important law for your examination, Indian Contract Act. Out of 60 marks, majority comes from Indian, at least 20, 25, 30 sometimes, depends on your luck. So will come from your Indian Contract Act. So similar to this, you can again check out the Indian Contract Act and all. You can see around, say it will be there in your, if you just make a random search on PDF, you will get it. I have this, what do you say, subscription. This is costly, don't go for this. Some 18-20,000 per annum and all. That, but I need it to for my analysis, so I have gone for it. But you can just search for Indian Contract Act. I have access to all the laws, so because it's a paid software, but right, for you it's not needed. Downloaded already, great. Share it off on the group, man. Yes, so this is the Indian Contract Act, right? Few examples we will take. One second. Full background music and all is coming outside. Okay guys, so nature of contract. So few examples we'll take and then you tell me whether according to you it is partnership, it is contract or not. Are these contracts, are these enforceable is the question. Question number 1. Mr. A asks Mr. B. Just examples I am giving you, you need to tell me whether it's a contract or not. Mr. A asks Mr. B, I would like to purchase your house for 20 lakh rupees. Mr. B had a small cute home. He said, okay, fine. He agreed. House is sold. Is it a contract? Yes or no? Answer guys. Yes, it is a contract. Okay. The restaurant owner. So the restaurant owner is in front of me. He comes to me and says, I will not open my restaurant in this area. I have had a restaurant here, but then business, both of us are not doing well. So I will not open my restaurant here. Pay me 10 lakh rupees as full and final settlement. Is this a contract? Yes, sir. Sure. Is it a contract? If I tell don't do it, it's right there in the screen. See the screen. Why? He's agreed. Assume the other fellow agreed. They'll make it writing also. I'll say I will not open my restaurant in this area. If you pay me 10 lakh rupees full and final settlement, other fellow also says yes. Is it a contract? Contract. Okay, next. It's there on the screen, the questions. Alvin agrees with Prem to bash up PJ after class. So I'm walking there, that fellow says, hey, this fellow is irritating. You do one thing, you go full puncture. Puncture his gadi and properly hit him. So some other guy, Rohan, agrees to pay 5,000 or Prem only agrees. Let's make it two people. Let's not complicate. Let's take Abdul. Abdul asks Adarsh, Abdul asks Adarsh to hit me properly after class. And Abdul tells Adarsh, I will give 5,000 rupees. So Adarsh has agreed with Abdul. Right? So Abdul has agreed to pay 5,000 rupees for the job. The job is over. Adarsh properly hits me. My gaadi is punctured, everything. Then Adarsh goes to Abdul and say, job is done, pay me 5,000. Abdul says, who are you? I don't know. What are you talking about? What do you think? Right or wrong? I mean, contract or not contract? Not contract. Okay. Next. Ram agrees with Rahim to sell his home for 1 rupee. 1 rupee. Okay. Raju agrees to give his two-wheeler to Raghu free of cost. Bitty, if I give, it's a contract. Huh? I'm asking, I don't know. If I give it for free, it's a contract. I agree to kill you. That is also a contract. Really? That's what I'm asking. So you tell me. I'm asking, throwing questions at you. You need to answer. So I agree, like for example, Adarsh agrees with Abdul to hit somebody. Both of them have agreed. They know who to hit. Is that a contract? Okay. Not legal. Okay. You are going on the road, you would have seen boy comes and polishes your shoe. You would have seen this. Or you park your gaadi in some signal, then one small kid will come and wipe your gaadi. And then he'll say, please give me. You do not restrain him at all. You don't ask him to stop. He does whatever he's doing. Then he asks for some money. Is that a contract between you and the little kid who has actually, you have to pay him money or not pay him money? If you don't pay, he'll sue you. Not contract. Okay. That's what. See, lot of confusion is there. Or rather, maybe you have one thought, the other thought also may seem right. All these questions will be answered during the course of the classes. So you will be able to, once I finish the contract act and then when I put up this thing for you, same slide if I put it up, you will be in a better position to answer all these things. Next, you go to the hotel and order Gobi 65. Gobi 65 is unavailable. Can you sue the hotel? Why? Why? Contract, no. Menu card is there, offer. You saw the menu card, you said, sir, Gobi Manchuri, agreement, acceptance, offer plus acceptance, contract. That fellow says, no, sir. So you rejected. He rejected your entire, contract, breached. So can you sue him? He said, boss, how can you put Gobi Manchuri here? You said Gobi Manchuri. I have ordered Gobi Manchurian. What do you think? You can sue him. So when you go to a hotel, they don't have items that you want, you can sue them. I am not asking we will not. Whether we will not or not is secondary. But can you is my question. You can. Okay. No. No. Okay. After eating, no. Eating means it's not there only, no. What only Manchuri sauce will give you. It's not there only. No. I'm saying, see, generally in the hotel it says that all the items are there. They are offering you all these items. In that Gobi Manchurian you'll feel like having. You'll tell, sir, Gobi Manchuri. He said, not there. So, is it that he has made an offer? You have accepted the offer by choosing Gobi Manchuri and then he's telling no, which means he has breached the contract. Is it like that? Is what I'm asking. So, you can, any breach means you can sue for sure. That's the thing. So, that's what. These are all the doubts. Everything we do in life is a contract, guys. Trust me. Everything we do in life is a contract. Not joking. So that's the reason why you have to understand. What I'm saying to say is everything we do will be covered under Indian Contract Act. That's the reason it's called the mother law, Indian Contract Act. R offers J his watch for 600 rupees. J agrees only to pay 500 rupees. Then you do know your bargaining vegetable market. 1 kg tomato 80 rupees. 80. No, make it 60. No, sir. Make it 50. No, sir. 80 only. Okay, make it 70. All this. What do you think? Contract, huh? Okay. Mohan saved your life 2 years ago from a fire accident. So 2 years ago, one guy called Mohan saved your life from a fire accident. He didn't do it obviously for money and all, but he saved you. Today, you are a very big man, and after 1 or 2 years after he saved you, suddenly your luck has turned and you have become very rich. Today you have promised to pay him 5 lakh rupees. Is that a contract? Okay. So basically when you have a written agreement saying that I'll pay you 5 lakh rupees for something that you did 2 years ago and I don't pay, he can sue you? Then you said yes sir now, 2 minutes back, 1 minute. He can sue, full ulta, full confusion. Yes, what do you think? 2 years ago he saved. Was he a firefighter? No, he saved. Today you are offering money. Why? Because he saved your life. If you don't pay that money, can he sue you? No. That's the thing. Fine, you'll understand everything, no problem. Mr. A obtains a car from B fraudulently. This one? Not a contract, fraud. Mr. C at knife point obtains necklace from Sheila auntie. Sheila auntie is walking. So this Mr. C will jump, take one knife and say, auntie, either your life or your necklace. Sheila auntie gives her necklace. Is it a contract? No. Why? I said, auntie, I want a necklace. She gave necklace. No. Contract, no. Yes or no? It's not legal, okay. A runs liquor business and enters into a contract with a bar for supply of liquor. Today, government bans liquor trade. No? Not a contract. An Indian agrees to sell a goods to a Pakistani for 2 years. After 6 months, India declares war against Pakistan. No, sir, it is a contract, or no, sir, it's not a contract. First 6 months also is not a contract. First 6 months it's a contract, okay. Contract between A and B, okay, this you will not understand, leave it. Alvin believes that, okay, so you will believe that the foundation exam is not happening in November because of Corona. So you will genuinely, tell that it is not applicable. You will see some CA Institute cutting saying that it is not applicable, and you will spread that full rumor everywhere. So because of you, I have to sit and call each and every parent and inform that it is not an official news. And then can I sue you? Because of you I had to waste so much time. Half a day I wasted because of you. And I know that you are the culprit. But you say, sir, I genuinely thought it was true and I did it. I honestly believed it to be true is what you will tell. Can I sue you? No. Okay. What if you did it intentionally? Okay. Cool. So many things we saw, guys. And some things you'll understand, some things you said all those things. So that whatever we discussed is a very small part of whatever we're going to be discussing under the Indian Contract Act. Everything that we do in life actually is has the elements of a contract. Everything that obviously if I do lawfully, legally, has the binding of a contract. The fact that me and you are sitting here through a virtual medium, is that a contract? Yes or no? So basically now, if I have taken money from you and if I do not, let's say, take any classes, can you sue me? Yes, 100%. On the other hand, you have not paid the full money. So can I take any action against it in such a way that you have not paid the money, so you are now debarred from the class, or I will sue you for the money, all that can I do? Yes, you have paid cash in that 5,000 rupees is fake note. Can I sue you? Yeah, correct. So that's the thing. So 500, 500, 1,000 is there, and in between you have put that Monopoly ka coins and all you have put, and you have given me. And then Monopoly ka notes, you have played that Monopoly game. So all those things you have given me. And then now I am seeing, oh, this fellow has put some other money. So let us see what is the scene. First of all, Indian Contract Act. If you see section number 1 in your BEAR Act, anyway, please put that BEAR Act. Those who want to see only can see, guys. There is no hard and fast rule that you have to study from the BEAR Act. Really, there is no rule like that. Only if you feel that, okay, maybe I will go through, then it's okay. But there is no hard and fast rule that you have to study from the BEAR Act. It's not needed. BEAR Act, when you come to what do you say, IPCC, CA Inter, that time though, I will only teach you the BEAR Act, how to study and all. But until then, no way, no need. But we have already tasted that in Partnership Act, and we have seen how easy it is. So why not? Here and there, wherever needed, we'll use the BEAR Act. Yes. So, but you guys need not actually sit and analyze everything, but we'll only see wherever needed. I will show you. I will not do everything through BEAR Act. Wherever needed, I will show you. That's enough. And again, the same method, same strategy. We will only be doing from my completely condensed material, which we are going to expand it and ensure that everything, all the things are covered. So when you read the additional material, it will be like smooth, very, very smooth. That's the usual trend. I've been following that from CPT days. It will continue as well. Yes. So preliminary, obviously, if you see just the number of sections that are there are, it goes on and on. Yes, 238 sections are there. And all these things are not there for you guys. Not all 230 and all are not there for you. Don't worry. Because if you see from around, 124 onwards, 124 onwards is CA Inter syllabus. So from 124 onwards, you have CA Inter. So till around, all these things, 74, 75, till 75-ish you have. 75. And very interesting, see here, 76 to 123, what have they given there? Sale of goods. But you also have Sale of Goods Act, no? Right, so we'll see that later. How come sale of goods came off there? There's something that you need to understand. So all these sections will be there for sure, right? All these things will come here and there. Very easy, guys, nothing to worry. So all these sections. So earlier, whatever was there in sale of goods, all that, then further 140, 161, going on and on and on, all these things will definitely be applicable when you come to CA final. This, all these sections, you see, never ending. This is your hardcore CA final syllabus. Sorry, CA Inter syllabus. So this is done. And for us, it's some 70 sections. Very simple. In that, easy, guys, nothing to worry. So if you go to section 1, that talks about preliminary. This act, short title, may be called as Indian Contract Act 1872. So there is no need of short title because the name itself is very small. Extent and commencement, it extends to the whole of India except J&K. But now J&K removed. When? No. Yeah, but with effect from actually 31st October. It was called as the J&K Reorganization Act 2019. Correct? So August 2019, but the effect came from now, 31st October, recently. 31st October, not so recently also, and almost a year ago. 31st October 2019. So after the Article 370 was abrogated, this thing came. Right? So, yes. That is the section 1. So section 2 again is the interpretation clause, which talks about all these assumptions before we go into the contract. We will discuss this, no problem. And if you see, the definitions are not specifically section 2. I told you definitions are generally section 2, but here they have given definitions in different things. Section 3 talks about communication and all those things. So this interpretation clause is similar to a definition only actually. So 2 clause A, 2 clause B, 2 clause C, these are all definitions only, but they are using the term interpretation clause rather than a definition clause. Very simple. And if you see this in 1872, which act was this, guys? Yes, it's given here. See, 9 of 1872. 9 of 1872. So if you see here, it is dated 25th April. Kept on getting amended so many times. So many times. Yes. So if you see, this act extends to dash whole of India. Yeah. Tell me. I can hear you. Tell me, man. Indian Contract Act was passed by the British in the British Parliament, called as the Indian Contract Act. So Britishers were here, so they used to pass all the laws in the name of Indian Contract Act only. When Indian Contract Act, everything was Indian Act only. You had the Tea Estates Act, the Indian Tea Estates Act, like that so many acts were passed. And after the, what do you say, independence, it was adopted by the Indian government, that's all. So it's all about, but it was applicable to India, right? You can't call it British Contract Act because it is applicable to India. So it is British Companies Act, British Contract Act had a different laws and regulations for British. Indian Contract had different rules and regulations for India. Doesn't matter who did it, but what applies is where it is applicable. It is applicable in India, right? So that's why it's called as the Indian Contract Act. So if you see the history here, you will understand. So if you open here, check this out. It was, when did it commence? Okay, not this, here. So if it was dated like this, it was dated like this, it was amended by so many laws. It was extended to and brought into force for Delhi and Nagar Haveli first. Then it also was extended to the state of Sikkim. That was in 1984. 1984, very recent, after 100 years, because it first initially was passed in 1872. So it was passed by the Britishers in India. It was not called as the Indian Parliament, obviously, but it was, the Council of Ministers in India, but then it was governed by British under the Queen. Even for that matter, even the Companies Act also is taken from which one? British Companies Act. So English Companies Act in England, it's called British Companies Act, but in India it was called as Companies Act only. Companies Act 1918 was there, 1928 was there. It was all called Companies Act. So the Companies Act 1956 was a copy paste of British Companies Act, which was in England. So just because it was in India, that is why it is called as Indian Contract Act. So if you read, once you study Companies Act of India, if you open Companies Act of Pakistan, they have copied from us. If you see Companies Act of Bangladesh, they have copied from us. So does it mean that, it's the same? No. So Britishers, according to what they wanted for their country, they put it in their own law, and then Indian Contract Act, they made necessary changes. But after we got our independence, we aligned it properly. So this was the 9th law to be passed where? In 1872. So if you see here, Act number dash, act number 9, that's all. So it came into force on 1st September, long time ago, 1st September 1872. So many things are there, guys. We need to understand the concept of contract. Let us see. So contract means what? So basically they have defined contract. I'll just give you the definitions, then I'll explain. Contract. So contract means it's an agreement enforceable by law. It's an agreement enforceable by law. An agreement is reciprocal promises. Reciprocal promises forming the consideration for each other. Nothing you will understand. You will not understand anything. I am just writing it down. Then I will make you understand. No problem. So what is contract? It is an agreement enforceable by law. And what is agreement? Reciprocal promises forming the consideration for each other. What is a promise? An offer, when it is accepted, becomes a promise. And what is an offer? Offer is also called as a proposal. Proposal is willingness. Willingness to do something or willingness not to do something. Proposal is willingness to do something or willingness not to do something. And ultimately I am doing this to get the assent of the offeree. This is the entire structure. Nothing you should have understood, good only. We will discuss that now, aram se, no tension. So I repeat, contract is an agreement enforceable by law. And what is an agreement? Reciprocal promises forming the consideration for each other. And a promise is what? Offer plus acceptance. An offer is what? Proposal. Willingness to do something, willingness not to do something. One by one. It's an agreement. Agreement. Basic, forget about all these things. What do you understand? What do you understand when I say agreement? If I tell you consent of two parties, correct? If I tell you let's go have lunch together, you will say yes. Is it agreement? I am not asking whether it's legal and I am just saying let's go for lunch. Is it an agreement? Yes. Is it an oral agreement or written agreement? Will you take it in writing? I will want to have lunch with you and all that? No. So this some people have this dirty habit of cigarette and all. So they say, my friends all smoke. So when they used to smoke, every like some 1 hour or 45 minutes, they have this thing. They have to go. So they'll tell, macha, one dum. That's the usual thing. You know, no, macha, one dum. So the other fellow also dum party. This fellow also dum party. Both of them are priests, pujaris. What puja? Lung puja they'll be doing. Correct? So both of them will be say, let's go. So what do you think? Is that an agreement? Yes, it's an agreement. I'm not even asking about contract act. I'm just asking, is that an agreement? Yes. So let's say you go to the hotel, you give 10 rupees and say, sir, one coffee. So self-service hotel. So that fellow will give you a, receipt. One small receipt he'll give you. Then you have to go into the counter and get your coffee. So when you say, sir, 10 rupees, I want coffee, and when he gives you the receipt, is that an agreement? Yes. Similarly, I gave you an example. Abdul told Adarsh, please hit PJ and please puncture his car. Is that an agreement? Yes. Everything that we do is definitely an agreement. Then You know, that day I gave you an example. I am selling you this black phone. I'm also selling you, assume this is a phone, white phone. I don't know which one. I am just telling you, I am selling my phone. You think that I am selling my black phone, but in fact I am selling my white phone. And you come to purchase the white phone, but I am actually selling my black phone. Is that agreement? Is that an agreement? No. No, because the agreement means what? The subject matter should be the same, no? Here, my intention is to sell the black phone, your intention is to buy the white phone. There is no, subject matter is not matching only. Subject matter is not matching. So, will that be an agreement? No. Will that be an agreement? When the subject matter only is not matching, is that an agreement? No. I will offer you chicken biryani. You are vegetarian. Biryani matching. Will you eat? Yes or no? I will say I will offer you biryani. It's a chicken biryani place. I'll say biryani. You say okay. In your mind, vegetable biryani you are eating. In my mind, I have offered chicken biryani. In your mind, you have accepted vegetable biryani. Is it a valid agreement? You only tell me. No, definitely not. It is not an agreement. It is not an agreement, because for an agreement to happen, there should be something called meeting of minds. If meeting of minds don't happen, it is not at all an agreement. I am not even talking about valid or invalid. It is not at all an agreement. Correct? So, for an agreement to happen, offer and acceptance must be there, yes. But the offer and acceptance should be in the same sense. In the same sense and on the same thing. Otherwise, it will never be called an agreement. That is 100%. For an agreement, whether it's valid or not is secondary. For example, I told you, Sheila auntie is going, I put her at knife point, I'll ask her, you give me either your life or your necklace. She gave the necklace. Is that an agreement? Whether it is valid or invalid, that we will see later. But is that an agreement? I wanted necklace, she wanted, she also gave necklace. Same thing. And in the same sense what? I said your life or necklace. She said, okay, I'll choose my life. You take the necklace. Was that an agreement? Yes. 100% yes. Many people don't know this also. Stupidly they teach students. I have seen teachers. I feel like slapping them. I'm not joking. Teachers, unfortunately, teach some bullshit to the students. Unfortunate. It pains me. They only don't know the basics of Contract Act. They are teaching the students. So, the thing is, it is 100% wrong. So, please understand, for an agreement to happen, it should be in the same thing in the same sense. If you want to test whether a teacher really knows law, you should test him in Indian Contract Act. And I will assure you, I have taken interviews of so many people. They'll come to Advait and say, I want to teach. I'll ask which subject. He'll say law. Law means for me, come. Sit, please sit. Then I will ask, tell me what is a contract, give me an example. Then where they falter is this only. Like one of you only told, they'll say it's an agreement only, no sir. Offer and acceptance is done, no sir. Gone, rejected there only. So for an agreement to happen, it should be same thing in the same sense. It should be on the same thing in the same sense. Only then it is an agreement. So that Sheila auntie, when I at knife point threatened her, 100% it's an agreement. Valid or not later, that's a different issue. But is it an agreement? 100%. Then when I go to a biryani place, various biryanis are there. In my mind, I want vegetable biryani. I'll say one plate biryani. that fellow will send you chicken biryani. Is that agreement? No. Because what he gave and what you asked for, though there was no proper communication, you said biryani, you assumed to be veg. He assumed to be non-veg. So there is definitely no meeting of minds. So for every agreement, friends, you have to have meeting of minds, and that in Latin terms is called consensus ad idem. Consensus ad idem is called meeting of minds. So C-O-N is coming together. Sensus means mind. So two minds are coming together, agreeing on the same thing in the same sense. That is called consensus ad idem. Consensus ad idem. Two people coming together on the same thing in the same sense. Those of you who have contracted in BCom and all, and people, you are learned something and come and all, please, in computer language I'll tell, Control A means select all, Shift Delete. Shift Delete. Delete will be in the recycle bin. I don't want that also. Shift Delete. So I don't trust our BCom teachers in this. Some of them are good, no doubt about it. I have seen very, very good BCom teachers, but I do not trust anybody now. So whatever you have learnt, whatever you think you know about contract, unlearn. Control A, Shift Delete. Okay. Yes. So because in BCom and all it's there. So they'll vomit there something. You will study that properly and come here and think that you know Contract Act. That's the problem. So please, now only I'm telling, because this is one law which is there in BCom. So some of you may already have started classes. That they were telling some attending classes and all. It's there. One of the chapters, I'm sure about it. One of the law subject, this chapter is there. So please unlearn. Whatever they teach, you listen FIFO, first in, first out. That's it. So this is the correct Contract Act. Anyway, so meeting of minds, consensus ad idem. So when two people are coming together, the minds are meeting. This is called consensus ad idem. So an agreement, same thing in the same sense you have to do. Now you tell me, if I call you, let's say I'll invite you for dinner, okay, to my place. I invite you. Is that, and you accept it. You say, I make an offer. Why don't you come home for dinner? You will say, okay. Is that an agreement? Yes. I'll say, one person will tell, come, let's go to that place. Drugs are available. Drugs, let's come, go take it. Is it an agreement? Yes. You also know what it is. That other person also knows what it is. Correct? If you say, come, let's go have drugs, other fellow will not tell, sir, I thought crocin you are giving me. You also know what is happening, no? So I'll know exactly that is available. Obviously, it's not available anywhere. Only there it's available. Come, we'll take. Other fellow cannot tell, no, I thought he was taking me to, chemist shop for crocin, all that. Nakra, you cannot tell. Unless he actually thought, unless he was dumb enough to actually think about that. Right? So if you see, yes. So now tell me, guys, if I call you, or that is one example. One example I told you, I'll call you for lunch, dinner, whatever. Second example, I told you this drugs thing. Third example, I'll say this now, between me and you. Between me and you also is an agreement. I have agreed to torture you, you have agreed to get tortured, and for that I am getting money. Superb, best job in the world. All the three things are there, guys, now. Now tell me, if I stop taking law classes, right, if the law classes are not done, can you sue me? Yes. Okay. Second one, if there you go and you ask for drugs and that fellow gives you, you open it, it's actually sugar powder. Papa, you thought drugs you will get, sugar powder he gave for 10,000 rupees. You are tasting it full sugar powder. Then you have to put it in coffee and drink, that's all. Can you sue him? You will go to mama's office, police, and say, sir, I ordered drugs, sir, actually, but he gave me sugar powder. Can you tell? No. Any doubt? Someone was telling something? Doubt? No doubt. Full experience and all they're telling. Anyway, don't do all those nonsense things, guys. You will ruin your life. Please. Third one. Tell me. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ಕೊಡಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ? ಎಲ್ಲಿದೆ ರೂಲು? ಸಿ ಎನೇ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ? There's no rule. You can teach. If you have knowledge, you can teach anybody, anything, no tension. And I was a major, not a minor. So you can, once you are a major, you can teach whatever you want. I had so many students. I had some 40 students that time. Yes. So that's why I'm saying first I told you knowledge is power. So rather than just, many people, if you have knowledge, you can make your life living. So please ensure that you study all these things really well. I used to teach CPT students, and then once I started inter, I used to teach inter students, and I got opportunity also to teach. I did it on my own. I said, I want to teach, please come. I got students, 40 students were there that time. That was my first time. Superb. I earned money during college only that time. Next. Third question is what? What do you say? What did I ask you? First was food, second was drugs, third, now between me and you, can you sue me? I asked you, you said yes. Now tell me guys, all the three were agreement, no? I called you for dinner home, you did not come, can I sue you? Why? Agreement, no? Written only I'll write, please come home, I am getting your favorite dish, that, all that items. All expensive items I am getting for you. Like, food items, which is generally available. And you say, yes, I'll 100% come. Or better still, I'll call you for the marriage. That is written only. Invitation I'll send you. Behind the invitation, that RSVP will be there, where you need to send in writing whether you're coming or not. You will tell 100% I'm coming. Written. It's everything is written. You don't come for the wedding. Can I sue you? Because of you, 1000 rupees plate, I had to pay. Pay now, 1000 rupees. Plus send me my gift also. Shall I send? Why? So what is the key word to make it social or legal? That is this line, enforceable by law. Enforceable by law means what? It should be a legal obligation. It should be a legal obligation. It should be a legal obligation. Means what, guys? You can definitely sue in the court of law. For a legal obligation, that agreement technically should be in writing. Oral agreements are valid agreements, no doubt about it. But when it comes to enforceability, it's very, very difficult to enforce oral arrangements. You cannot prove. How will you prove? You will tell the court, sir, I told. How are you telling? Sir, I'll swear on the Bhagavad Gita. Mother promise, father promise, Bhagavad Gita promise. That's all. It's your word against that person's word. That's it. Very difficult. So, oral agreement 100% valid. Oral agreement 100% valid. But it has to be in always writing. So, contract and agreement enforceable by law. Done. Then here if you see meeting of minds. Consensus ad idem. Right? Enforceable by law, legal obligation, which means you can sue in the court of law. So that invitation for food is just a social obligation, so nothing can be done. Then inviting you to do drugs is 100% illegal, and if anything goes wrong, you cannot sue the other person. It is illegal. It is not enforceable in the court of law. In fact, both of you will get caught and both of you will go to jail, whatever happened. Third one is whatever I told you now, between Advait learning and you. The contract is not between me and you, mind you. The contract is between Advait Learning and you. So you haven't entered into a contract only to learn law from me. No way. So we can provide you any law faculty because the contract is between Advait Learning and you. In CA final, it doesn't work that way. In CA final, people come only to learn from that particular faculty. For that, as I already told you, this thing does not matter. The academy and all doesn't matter. So that time, if I teach some 10 classes and say it's boring, my other faculty will teach, then you can sue. But here, if law classes are not happening, you can sue. But not that I am not teaching, you're teaching, that is not possible, right? That's the thing. It's always like that. Yes. So if you see, that's the scene, guys. So basically, agreements, to reach the agreement stage, there has to be, enforceability. After agreement stage, enforceability. Otherwise, the agreement here will never reach the contract stage. The agreement will never reach the contract stage. It will reach the contract stage only when there is enforceability. I enter into a liquor business with you today in Bangalore. Is it enforceable? Yes, why not? Liquor business, I have license, everything. Tomorrow government bans liquor. What do you think then? What happens to the contract? Valid, invalid? Invalid. So this is an agreement which reached the contract stage and then it became bad. Right? Agreement reached the contract stage and then became bad. That is one more example. Slowly we'll see a lot of examples, no problem. So that's the thing, guys. Now what is an agreement? It is not offer and acceptance. No. That also some stupid fellows teach like that. Agreement means offer and acceptance. Wrong. Agreement means this. Reciprocal promises forming the consideration for each other. Reciprocal promises forming the consideration for each other. If today I gift you my watch, right, and you take it, is it an agreement? Is it an agreement? Is it? Consideration means something in return. Something in return. What do you think, guys? If I gift you my watch and you take it, is it an agreement? No. Why? No consideration. Correct? There is no consideration. So your parents see that you've cleared foundation and they'll just get you something. They'll get you a two-wheeler, right? What do you think? Is that contract or is it an agreement? Because from your parents' point of view, there is nothing in return. You will not say happiness and all, that's not return. So consideration generally should be valued in terms of money. So can I say if there is no consideration, there can never be contract? For example, me and you are sitting, fair enough. If this were to be a free session, free class, we launch those classes, it's called Revision Premier League, RPL. So we have it for final and inter and all. Foundation, you have not yet started. Free classes, some 20-30 hours, simply free revision we do. So in that case, that's something that we want to do from our own, we wanted to just help out the students. Not everyone can afford classes. So we have a team of faculty who are like-minded, where we give free classes. If anybody wants, your seniors, let them tell them. It's called Revision Premier League. It's for both inter and final. Free classes. Not everything. We can't do 100 hours and all that. We don't have the time. Some 20-30 hours revision per subject. Like that we do. So that's for the people who cannot afford classes and all, right? But it's just revision. So they have to study on their own and then they can revise. Others also can revise. It's free. Anyway, so if you see, reciprocal promise forming the consideration. Now, when I do that Revision Premier League, RPL, one day I don't feel like teaching. So I will like today, I'll just tell the students, today I cannot teach, maybe some other day I'll do. Can they sue me? Why? Yes. No, more than not a contract. Why? Yes, no consideration. So general rule, yes, general rule, no consideration, no contract. Very, very simple rule. No consideration, no contract. For every contract, there has to be consideration. If there is no consideration, there is absolutely no contract. For every contract, there has to be at any cost consideration. Consideration means something in return. But there are certain exceptions to this, which we'll see later. There are exceptions. There are exceptions. Means what? In some cases, even though there is no consideration, it is a valid contract. There are exceptions. Right? So, reciprocal promises. Reciprocal promises. What is this reciprocal promises? We'll see. The beauty of Contract Act is, in each case, there is a promise and a consideration. So there is a promise, there is a consideration in each case. Let me take your case and Advait case. Tell me, in this contract between me and you, what is your promise? Your promise would be to pay the fee and attend the classes which you are actually attending. That is your promise. What is this? What is Advait's consideration? What is Advait getting? You are getting the fee. What is Advait's promise? What is Advait's promise? To torture you. Advait's promise is to torture you to no end. And what is your consideration? Getting tortured. Perfect. So if you see, guys, it's such a wonderful thing. You are getting you are making a promise also, you are getting consideration also. Advait is also getting the promise, getting the consideration. Your promise of paying the fee and Advait's consideration are the same. Advait's promise of torturing you and your consideration is the same. Can I say one person's promise is the other person's consideration, and the other person's consideration is the one person's promise. This is called as reciprocal promise, forming the consideration for each other. One person's promise is the consideration for the other. This person's promise is the consideration for other. Reciprocal promise forming the consideration for each other. If consideration column is 0 somewhere, gone, no contract. Right? Consideration column is 0 somewhere means gone, no consideration. Correct? No consideration, no contract. If I am torturing you for free, you are getting tortured for free, gone, no consideration, no contract. Correct? Very, very simple. So in this, one person's promise should be the other person's consideration. And ultimately, friends, this should all be meeting of minds. Meeting of minds. You have agree on the same thing in the same sense. Otherwise, that guy's example will come then. You told biryani, I told biryani, matching, matching. No, I told veg biryani, you are telling chicken biryani. Where matching, matching? Correct? No, it is meeting of minds. Agreeing on the same thing in the same sense. Agreeing on the same thing in the same sense. Agreeing on the same thing in the same sense. One person's promise is the other person's consideration. So if you come back, that's what it says. One person's promise is the consideration for each other. Reciprocal promises forming the consideration for each other is nothing but agreement. Agreement is not offer and acceptance. Agreement is not offer and acceptance. Agreement is actually offer plus acceptance plus consideration. You have to be perfect. This is not BCom here, or this is not some other thing that we are studying without, we need to be specific while talking. Correct? Agreement is not offer and acceptance. Agreement is reciprocal promise plus consideration. And what is a promise? Offer plus acceptance. So I can say offer plus acceptance plus consideration. This is the most important thing which we miss out, is actually an agreement. And if that agreement where you can sue, it is enforceable by law, only then, guys, it becomes a contract. So can I say all contracts are agreements? Yes or no? All agreements are contracts? No. All contracts are agreements, but all agreements, come home for dinner, drugs, come let's do some smuggling activity, come let's hit that person, agreement only, no? Meeting of minds also is there, but is it a contract? Never. There is no enforceability by law. One Belpuri fellow is there outside. He is standing on the footpath where he is not supposed to have this Belpuri shop. Correct, 5 p.m. Who will come? Mama. Mama will come on the bike. Two mamas will be there. On the cheetah bike they'll come. They'll say, move. Sir, adjust. Okay, pay. How much? 500 rupees. Take. What is that? Meeting of minds? Agreement? Agreement. But that mama anyway collected the money. Agreement. Okay, you stay there, you give the money. Agreement. Mama is going there and it turned right. From there, Hoysala is coming. Hoysala is this cheetah fellow's boss. Suddenly he'll come back and say, get out, my main mama is coming. Main mama is coming from there, Hoysala. Can this fellow say, sir, you already took 500 rupees, give me my money back and all? No. Can this fellow go and sue him? No. Got it? It's an agreement, it can never be enforceable by law. So all agreements need not be contracts. All agreements need not be contract, but all contracts are necessarily agreements. All contracts are necessarily agreements, right? So reciprocal promises from the consideration for each other. So promise is offer plus acceptance plus consideration would be a agreement. Offer is also called as proposal. And you are making an offer to a person, and because I want that person to say yes. I want that person to say yes. The person making the offer is called as dash. What? Offerer. The other word for offer is proposal. The person making the proposal is also called proposer. Right? And basically, guys, if you see, in this example, you have also made a promise, I have also made a promise. So any person who makes a promise generally is called as a promiser. So for offerer, no, you can have three words: offerer, proposer, and the third one is promiser. The person to whom the offer is made, the person to whom the offer is made is called offeree. Offeree. The person to whom the promise is made is promisee. The person to whom the proposal is made is called dash. Proposee. Tell, proposee. No. That's why I knew you would tell that. It's not proposee, it is acceptor. This is CA, not BCom. BCom matching, offerer, offeree, promiser, promisee, proposer, proposee. No. It is acceptor. Sorry, not acceptance, acceptor. Got it? Acceptor. Got it, guys? Making the offer, offeree, proposer, acceptor, promiser, promisee. This is the scene. If you see, very interesting in this particular case, you are a promiser also. What have you promised? Fee. You are a promisee also. What has Advait promised you? Torture. Advait on the other hand is a promiser. They have promised torture. Advait is a promisee also. They have been promised fee. Basically, in a contract, you are a promiser also, promisee also. Correct? That is one more thing that people will think that no, there is only one promiser, one promisee. No. There are two people in a contract. There can be many people also. There are two people in a contract. One person is both the promiser and the promisee. And the other person is also both the promiser and the promisee. But we need to see who made the promise first. Who made the promise first? If you came and paid the fee, whether or we asked you to pay the fee, that depends on the entire context. But technically in the exam, very simple, they only would have given, guys, A promised to pay B. They so very simple, A is the promiser, B is the promisee. Chapter close. But A is also the promisee, because whatever is getting from B, it is the consideration. That no need to do all that. In the exam, they only would have given A promised to pay B, means A is the promiser, B is the promisee. Simple. So these are the three terms. And what does a offerer do? He gives a proposal. And the proposal is what, friends? Either willingness to do something. I am willing to torture you. Will you pay me amount? Proposal. You are willing to pay the amount for the torture? Proposal. If we ask you to pay, proposal. You only come and want to pay, proposal. Willingness to do something. Willingness not to do something. Willingness not to do something. With a view to get the assent of the offeree. Assent means that fellow will say yes, the other person of the offeree. The mama on the cheetah bike will say, please give me 500 rupees. I will not throw you out. Is it an offer? Yes or no? Yes. Is it a valid offer? No. But is it an offer? Yes. Can it be enforceable? No. Willingness not to do means I will not throw you out, don't worry. And the other fellow, because he wants to make a living and he doesn't want to shift, and there's no license, nothing for that shop. It's a gadi. It's a, pani puri stall. What license will be there? There's no food license, there's nothing. One of the reasons why corona recoveries are more than 50% in India is because of us having that pani puri all our life. Immunity has been built within. I'm not joking, really. You've seen how they make. Yes sir, we've seen. We've washed. We've seen how they wash. We know that only is the pani. That's why the color. It's okay sir, very tasty. We've eaten all that thing from beginning. And actually if you see people who have never eaten all those things, no, on street food, they are falling sick because the immunity is not there from within. We have eaten all those things and now we have that immunity. That doesn't mean corona doesn't come to the guy who ate pani puri. What I'm trying to tell is the recovery is such that without even having any vaccine, the recoveries are more, 50% more than the affected because of the immunity that is built by eating all those dirty things from childhood. That's the thing. So we see proposal, willingness to do and not to do. Why am I proposing? To get the assent of the offeree. That's all. The main intention for me to offer you is for you to give the acceptance of the same. Acceptor should say yes. That's my objective. Simple. If the acceptor says yes, good. So willingness to do something and willingness not to do something. Not to do. For example, I told you that restaurant owner comes in front of me and says, I will offer not to do, not to open here, the restaurant. See boss, I also open here, you also open here, both of us will be, it will be a problem for both of us. So I will go to some 3 kilometers later, but you do a market analysis, see how much business you have lost because of me. So you see there are some 15 lakhs you would have lost because my turnover is 15 lakhs from here. So I'm going away now. You will anyway earn back that 15 lakhs. Give me some 5 lakh rupees. I'll go away. Is that a valid offer? Yes. That is not a threat. It's an offer. See, I'll go somewhere else if you give me. Otherwise, no problem. Otherwise, we'll do healthy competition. That is a valid offer. Some chefs, when they join the restaurants, right? Can they work in some other hotel also? They can work in 2 to 3 hotels. A master chef. No, obviously. There'll be some trade secrets which only the particular 5-star hotel knows, which will pass on to this person. There will be something called as non-disclosure clause. Non-disclosure. You know this Bahubali movie came. Rajamouli had made each and every actor sign a non-disclosure clause. Not kidding. Especially why Kattappa killed Bahubali. That all the other people knew the story, right? So they had to write down a non-disclosure agreement. Should not have been leaked. And penalty for that was some 50 crores or something. Imagine. The actors had to pay in case they came to know. So the thing is, yes, now Prabhas is agreeing not to disclose. For this, they will be paid some money also for that non-disclosure agreement. It will be added to that, particular remuneration that they are getting. So this not to do in a better way, it's called abstain from doing. Abstain. So the mama telling, I will not, take away your, gadi, that may be invalid, but is it a proposal? Yes, definitely. Prabhas agreeing not to disclose, definitely proposal. Whether it is valid or invalid is secondary. But for an agreement, just because offer and acceptance is there, it's not agreement. It should be meeting of minds. Consensus ad idem. So without seeing, what is a contract? What's a contract? Agreement enforceable by law. What is an agreement? RPC, reciprocal promises forming the consideration for each other. What is a promise? Offer plus acceptance is a promise. What is an offer? Proposal, willingness to do something, willingness not to do something. Why am I willing to do or not to do something? With the main view of getting the acceptance or the assent of the offeree. That's all. No mugging up. Absolutely no mugging up. So this is called as contract. So if you see, very, very simple, you will have to read at home 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, till here it's enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, coolly. And in the same, which structure, you read 7 first, then you read 6 first. This is how it is organized in the Bayer Act, but how we should read. First I should read contract, then I should read what is an agreement, then I should write reciprocal promise, then I should read consideration, then I should read promise, then promise or promisee, then proposal and offer. Whichever way, that structure you remember the structure, guys, that's all. No mugging up. Law is logical, no mugging. No by-hearting that bloody, definitions and all that. No way. It should be always you close your eyes, visualize the law and understand the law. Right? Okay. Yes. All right.